Hi everybody, we are here to talk about properties and methods that we can use in strings and in arrays in general, but in strings. We are going to concentrate in strings. So the first property that I'm going to show to you is the length property. So here I declared a simple variable with a simple string here. It's a small sentence. And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to declare another variable just to check the length of that sentence. So I put the variable name and I use the property, period, and put the property length. Note that I'm not putting parentheses because it's not a method, it's a property. So now that variable that I just declared will have the number 21, which represents the length of that array, in that case of that string. If you count correctly, you're going to see that there are 21 characters in that string. Now, I put an article in the lecture about the length property, which is very tricky because if a sentence has emoticons, the length might come up with a different number than you should expect because the emoticons are counted differently. You should read that article if you want more details about that. Now, the other method and property that I'm going to talk to you about is the char at. So here I'm going to have another variable declared, and I'm going to say that I want to know what is the character or what is the element that is at the position. So char at position 2, number 2. So the char variable is going to return with the letter S, because remember that strings, when they are seen as an array, the position starts in 0. So you have position 0, then position 1 has the letter U, and position 2 has the letter S. That's why it returned the letter S, because I asked what is the char, what is the character at position 2. That's exactly what I'm asking. Now, what if I want to verify if in that sentence I have a certain character or a certain set of characters? I can use the index of. So look at this. Var search equal T, which is the text, index of the O capital letter. Exactly the same thing I want to call the attention when we use the char at, the A is capitalized, otherwise it will not work. That's the way you write the method. So now between parentheses, I'm not going to put position number. I'm going to put the character or the set of characters I'm looking for. So in that case here, I'm going to see the letter S, lowercase s. Okay, let's see what the variable search is going to have. It has the number 2. Why? First of all, if you look at the letter S in that sentence, you're going to find 1, 2, 3 times. So this is not the count. It's not counting how many times I found the letter S. It's giving me the first position where that letter was found. So it was, in this case, position 2. Remember again, the first position is position 0. Okay, so we return position 2. Now let's talk about the 2 types of substring when we want to extract a certain piece of the content or of the string. So the first one we are going to use, I'm going to use a variable that I will call first, and I will go to the T again, which is my string, and then I will use the sub str, not the substring completely, the sub str. The difference you're going to see right now, this one, the first parameter, it's telling me here from where you want to extract. What is the position you want to start to extract? Well, I want to start in position 3. Okay. Now, the second, it's telling me here, it's the length. So what is going to be the length of the extracted result? I want it to be 6. So let's see the result. First has, well, first of all, position 3. I have 0, 1, 2, 3. So it's the lowercase t. Position 4 is a space. Position 5 is an A, lowercase a. Position 6 is a space. But I'm not talking about position. That 6 here is length. That means starting in T, I want to have the 6 characters. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it finishes in the letter M. That's why this is what's presented. As you can see, the length of first is 6. Now, let's see the difference if I use now for the first variable, the same variable that I declared before, but now I'm going to use the substring. The difference here is the first parameter is where I start. So I'm going to put 3 again so we can compare the results, okay? And I'm going to put the second parameter is the position where it ends, 6. And let's see now what I have in first. Oh, I have only the T, a blank space, and the letter A. I don't have the SM anymore. Why? Because I'm starting position 3, which we all know it's the letter T. Then position 4 is the space. Position 5, okay, is the letter A. Position 6 would be the space, so I'm stopping before. Let's see another example. If I do first, again, and then the substring now is starting in position 7 and ending in position 10. Look at this. Let's see who is in position 7. Remember, we start in 0, right? So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is this S from the word small. So then position 7, position 8 is the letter M, position 9 is the letter A. Note that the L, which is position 10, is not included. So that end position here is not included. It's non-inclusive. Okay? That's the difference as well. Now, if I want to transform this string here all in uppercase, I can simply use the two uppercase. See how I am spelling this? U in uppercase, C in uppercase. Okay, it has to be that way. And now the T will have the same sentence, but all written in uppercase. If I want the other way around, if I want all in lowercase, then I have the T to lowercase. And now it's all in lowercase. Now, we will see other methods and properties, but now I'm going to clear that screen. I'm going to clear that console here, and I'm going to show an example of a problem, okay? So imagine that I have this phone number here that I received from the user. The user typed the phone number in that format. That was the format that I requested. So here's the phone number. And now I will have users typing phone numbers in that format only. Okay, we studied already regular expressions. We would know how to have the user typing in that format and make sure that the user is typing in the correct format. I'm not going to review this right now, but I received that string. And now I need to show in a report the prefix separated, then the routing number separated, and the final 4 numbers of the telephone number, those 3 separated. So it's like I'm doing a table with the prefix of the telephone number, the routing number of the telephone number, and the last 4 numbers. Okay. So let's try reviewing those methods that we just learned. Let's try to resolve that problem. I can use, for example, the first thing that would come to my mind is that I can use the split to try to separate right away the whole phone number, the 7 digits of the phone number, from the prefix. So I could have a variable here that I would say the phone, period. I would use the split method, and I would split by the closing parenthesis. It's a string, that closing parenthesis. That's why I'm putting between double quotes. Now, and I do that, look what's the result in that variable. Remember the split? I split So I found one closing parenthesis, so there is going to be two pieces splitted, and that closing parenthesis is gone, does not exist anymore. So I have the first part with the opening parenthesis and the prefix, and the second part has the space that came right after the closing parenthesis and the 7-digit numbers, including the hyphen. So I can say that my prefix is the first element of that variable that received the split. So if it's the first element, it's position 0. When I say that, look what I get in prefix variable. Well, but I still have that parenthesis. I don't want the parenthesis, the opening parenthesis. So what can I do? Well, I can apply the substring, the sub str, or even the substring, but I can apply the substring here. And I can say that I'm not starting position 0, which is the opening parenthesis. So I'm starting in position 1, and the length, see, it helps me here in the console. The length will be 3, because I want the 3 numbers for the prefix. Now my prefix is correct, ready to go to the report. Okay, so now what about the routing and the phone number? Well, the routing and the phone number and the number, the 4 digits of the phone number, it is the second element of when my phone number was splitted. So I will get that element, and what I would need to get the routing? Oh, I can get another split. Look at this. I can split now by the hyphen. I don't need that hyphen to show up in my report. So then I go and put like this. Another var. The routing, it's going to be the phone that I splitted, right? But the position 1. But I will split that using the hyphen. Right? But look what happens if I leave that way. What I have in the routing, I have 2 elements. Again, every time you split, you're going, every time you find the character to split, then you get one more element. One more element. So you get, at the end, you get an array of elements that were splitted based on the splitter. The routing is only that first part. So in reality, my routing will be the position the final routing will be the position 0 of that splitter, right? That splitted that I have, that splitted result. So my routing final now has that space. Oh, you know what? There is a method that I did not demonstrate it before because I wanted to use it here, which is the trim. I could also use the substring right here again. Yes, so as you can see, there are many solutions using those methods that you can use to achieve a result. In this case, I'm going to use the trim. So the trim, what it does, look at this. I just write trim, and now I don't have any blank space either in the beginning, and if I had a blank space at the end, it would also eliminate that blank space. I have the trim alone, or I have the trim start and the trim end. So when I'm not sure if I have blank space in the beginning and at the end at the same time, then I use the trim. If I know for sure that I have only in the beginning, so the beginning blank space, then I use trim start. Otherwise, I can use the trim end if the blank space is at the end. So now my writing final is ready to go to the report. What about the last number, the 4 numbers? Well, look here. When the first splitted result was split again using the hyphen, I got as a second element the 4 last numbers of my phone number. So the last number is going to be the position 1 of that split based on the hyphen. So my last number is the 4 last numbers of the telephone number, and I would be ready to put those numbers in my report. Of course, I showed very methodically here, very slowly, so you can understand. Now let's see another problem, okay? Suppose that I have this content here. Suppose, okay? It could be bigger. And suppose that somebody gave to me this word here, short. Now, the problem is, the person gave me the word short, and it wants me to tell her or him how many times that word short shows up in my text, in my first content. How many times? Well, this one is very short. I can count right here. 1, 2. And then you say, oh, really? 1, 2? If I compare this word short here with the first word short in my content, it's not going to be equal. Why? Because JavaScript is case sensitive, and that first one here starts with a capital letter. So the first thing to resolve that problem will be to transform to lowercase or uppercase the whole content and the word as well. You don't know if the user typed the word with capital letter or lowercase, okay? So I'm going to do that. I'm going to then transform the content all to lowercase. Could be capital uppercase. I'm just putting lowercase here. So it's now all lowercase. And I'm going to transform also the word all to lowercase. If I transform one to lowercase, the other one I have to transform to lowercase. Otherwise, I will never find, right? If I transform one to lowercase and the other to uppercase, it's not going to work. Okay, so both now are transformed all to lowercase. Now, you could think about this saying, that problem saying, well, we could use the index of. Remember that we talked about the index of, like in the first part of this video, that it's used to find a character or a set of characters inside a string. The problem, what is the problem with that index of? Is that it returns only the position number and the first occurrence only. So I would have to build a very complicated loop to make sure that I was going to be able to read the whole content and find every time without repeating the first occurrence, the other occurrences. Very complicated. I can resolve this in one comment, in one sentence, using the methods that we have just learned. So I'm going to say that I'm going to define a variable to receive the counter. Let's remember again the split. What the split does, you split the string in pieces every time you find the string, right? The string or one character or a set of characters inside the bigger content. So if I say that I want to split my content based on the word that I received, then now everybody's in lowercase. Look that I'm not putting word between double quotes because here I'm referring to the variable that I defined with the name of word. So split word. Let's remember again what the split will return. The split will not return the number of times I found. It will return an array, right? In that case, because I'm looking for the word, the splitter is the word short. How many elements in that array I will have? Here cuts one time already, so that initial character here is counted as one element. So the beginning, right? So before the word short has nothing, but it's counted. Then it will go and find, found here again the word short, and we'll put a cut here. So imagine that this is a cake. I will have a cut right here at the beginning and another cut. So I'm cutting that cake twice. That means that I will have 3 pieces, right? So 3 elements. So let me leave the variable counter like that and show to you what the variable counter has. There you go, 3 elements, exactly where the cut, where the split happened. So in reality, my counter cannot be only the split. The split will give me the array. But what I need is the length of that array. But right now, if I put only the length, how many occurrences I will have? 3. So I will have my length as 3. But that's not right, because in reality I have 3 pieces of the cake. Why? Because I cut the cake twice. So it's this expression minus 1. And it will give me that the word short showed up 2 times in this short paragraph here. For you to see that this works, let me put this content to be way bigger. This is not a short paragraph. I'm going just to create some words here. So as you can see, this content is way bigger, right? I'm going to use the same word, short, okay? So just to play safe here and just to demonstrate, I'm going to do again that content is going to be transformed to lowercase. Everything is in lowercase. I'm going to transform the word again, just so you remember that both are being transformed. To lowercase. Okay? So now I'm going to use the same counter. And with that same expression. So content split, I'm using the variable, the value inside the variable word, and I'm going to get the length minus 1. Look at this, 3. And if you count, the word short shows up 1, 2, 3 times exactly. I had 3 cuts on my cake. That made 4 parts of it. That's why I had to put them minus 1. So in case I would not find, so let me put here a word being gigantic. The word gigantic. So I'm going to transform again the word to lowercase. It's already in lowercase, but just to get into the practice of doing this, so you transform both the content and the word to lowercase. Now I'm going to use the same thing, the variable counter, and I'm going to apply the split based on that new word and the length minus 1. Oh, now I have 0. Why? Well, because I did not have any cut of my cake, because that word here, gigantic, does not exist in that big content here. So my cake was not cut any time. So because it was not cut any time, I have only one element, which is the entire content, one element in my array after I do that split. So one element only. What is the length of that array? 1 minus 1, 0. Okay? So that's it, and I hope you enjoy that video and those problems, And I hope this helps you understand those properties and methods. Have a nice day.